Safeguarding elections continues to be a main priority for House Republicans, with multiple pieces of legislation aimed at tightening voting rules and preventing voter fraud. Let's go to Emma Withrow from the Fact Check team, and we've spoken at length before about the SAVE Act. Compare that to the Make Elections Great Again Act.
Yeah, so the SAVE Act their main focus really is requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. So it also requires mail-in applicants to prove they're citizens in person, and then forces states to make sure only citizens register in general. The Make Elections Great Again Act is a much wider overhaul of federal voting rules. So it has the citizenship proof aspect like the SAVE Act, but it also layers national voter ID requirements, systemic voter list purge mandates, and then broader changes to just registration law in general.
Can you get into the specifics of that? Because I know that critics have pointed out, they're saying that it's too much federal overreach.
That has been one of the points of criticism here. Actually, a blog post was put out from Stephen Richer, who's an adjunct scholar at the Cato Institute, and he pointed out that states wouldn't be allowed to offer universal mail balloting, which right now a lot of Western states like Utah, California, Oregon, they do offer that. It also would prevent states from accepting mail ballots that are sent on election day but then arrive after election day, which is a pretty common thing in many states. Also, states couldn't let voters give their sealed mail ballot packets to their neighbors for delivery, which is currently allowed in 18 different states. So Cato's argument here is that this bill would strip states of a lot of their control over elections, which he says counters the whole point of federalism.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what this looks like in practice.
Yeah.
Emma, thank you. For more on this Fact Check team topic, Emma's going to join us to break down how often non-citizen voting happens and in which states it happens the most. The House GOP held a hearing today on the SAVE Act, which would reform elections by requiring voter ID for voting in elections. And it works to require states to verify citizenship during voter registration in our state and federal elections. Let's go to Emma Withrow from the Fact Check team. So to start, isn't this already, established by law?
Yeah, so it's laid out in the Constitution, and then there's also a federal law that was passed in 1996 that explicitly says non-citizens can't vote in federal elections. But House GOP members like Chairman Steil, they want this to get even more specific.
So how often is non-citizen voting taking place? And also, how would something like that be tracked, if at all?
So it varies state by state, which is normal. But the Bryan Center for Justice analyzed state voter rolls in Louisiana, and they found only around 30 suspected non-citizens voted out of 23.5 million ballots that were cast. But photo ID requirements, strong laws against ballot harvesting, and ballots being returned to election officials by election day is something that at least America First Policy Institute pointed out is necessary to keep elections secure, regardless of whether or not it's common. So this conservative think tank, they gave some states a ranking basically of risk or more secure depending on elections. So take a look at this map here. It shows states like Oregon, California, New York, they were ranked in red, so less secure according to AFPI. And then the states like Montana, Tennessee, and Florida, they were ranked in green, aka more secure per AFPI, depending on kind of the restrictions that are put in place for voting.
Interesting. Emma, thank you. And for a closer look at that research and more on this Fact Check team topic, including links to Emma's sources, scan the QR code or visit thenationaldesk.com.